As an economist, I know that technology can make us more productive, but now that Elon Musk is professionally trolling Twitter, it doesn't look like I'm going to become a cyborg anytime soon. So today I'm sharing 3 of my favorite pieces of tech that are making me almost as productive as becoming part robot, including this massive package that just arrived at my house. My main responsibility as an economist is to produce research, and the number one most important input to research is underpaid student labor.
Dad, can I be done?
Not if you want that letter of recommendation.
But the second most important thing is reading other people's research. Here's the problem. I hate reading research papers on the computer. I think the main problem is that I like writing my notes in the margins and underlining things, but on the computer, my notes don't stay with the text. I also don't like having that harsh backlight on the text all the time, and with a computer, I'm just chained to my desk. I can't really read wherever I want. I can be more mobile if I read on a tablet, but that still has the backlight problem. Plus, when papers are boring and YouTube is fun, it's easy to get distracted. The easiest solution was just to print papers, and then I can take them wherever I want. I don't get distracted, I can write all over them. But with how much I was supposed to read, my printer was working harder than the Federal Reserves. That is, until I got this. This is the Remarkable tablet, and I've been using it for 2 years. It's an e-ink tablet, so there's no harsh backlight when I'm reading, and there's no glare when I go outside. It has Wi-Fi for syncing papers, but there's no web browsing or other apps, so it is a completely distraction-free, reading-focused experience. I can upload hundreds of papers to this, and I can take notes on it, and it feels just like writing on paper. It is a piece of tech that's a little bit more expensive, and there aren't that many substitutes out there, especially cheaper substitutes. You can get it a little bit cheaper with one of my referral codes, but I don't want to put them out there and make them public. If you're interested, you can subscribe to my newsletter, leave a comment, and we can connect on getting you a code. But if you really want to be as productive as a cyborg, you can't just read a bunch of papers. You have to do something with them. There's another step that I want to discuss in this video, and for that, we have to go to my desk. But that reminds me of my biggest tech failure this year, and a piece of tech that I'm excited about for this next year. For my career, I sit a lot. I sit when I read research. I sit when I write research. I sit when I edit videos. I even sit when I'm recording videos. My career is so sedentary that I'm starting to feel like the humans in WALL-E. I do exercise regularly, and I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I just didn't feel like that was enough. Then someone suggested a solution that I thought was genius. What if, while you were at your desk, you could ditch the sedentary slouch and you could keep your body active the whole time? So I got an exercise bike desk. This is just an exercise bike with a desk attachment. Unfortunately, it was a big fail for a couple of reasons. One, which should have been really obvious to me, was that my computer workstation is not going to fit on this little exercise bike desk. Of course, I could use a laptop, but my laptop isn't my main workstation, so there's only so many things that I can get done while I'm on the bike. I thought, well, this isn't a big deal. I've got my Remarkable tablet. I can just do my reading on the bike. And it does work relatively fine for that, except anytime I want to write, it gets really hard, especially because you have to lean forward, and having all of that weight forward makes it really difficult to write on this tablet. On top of that, there's a very narrow line that you have to balance on if you want to stay on this bike, and that makes it really hard for getting work done when you're focusing on staying balanced while multitasking. I will say it has not been a complete flop. I do enjoy exercising on the bike, and the desk is a great place to put a phone or a tablet or even my laptop if I want to watch something while I'm exercising. It just has not achieved my expectations of staying active while working. That's why I'm super excited for this massive package. This next year, I am going to be using a standing desk. I've wanted to use a standing desk for a long time, and that's kind of what inspired me to get the exercise bike desk. I just thought, I'll just jump forward and go to the next evolution of desks. But I think I jumped a little bit too far. So I'm using the FlexiSpot Pro Plus Standing Desk E7, if you want to know the exact model that I'm working with. I've been using it for the past couple of weeks, and I love it. There's a reason why I didn't want to get a standing desk for so long, and that's because economists can be worried about getting locked into a certain technology. If you remove some of your options, you might regret that in the future. With this standing desk, I don't lose any options. I can move the desk up and down, and I was seriously blown away the first time I adjusted it. I thought it was going to be a rickety, janky process as it was moving up and down. It moves so smoothly. I can't believe it.
Not only is it smooth, it's very quiet as it's going up and down, and it has a really good height range. It goes from 22.8 inches up to 48.4 inches. So no matter what your height, you'll find something in your range.
Dad, now can I be done?
I've been using it for the past couple of weeks, and I have two observations that I'd like to give on using a standing desk. First is that the first week of use ended up being really tough for me because I was standing so much more than I was used to. My knee was starting to hurt. I was feeling it in my hamstrings and quads. But after the weekend of rest, I was able to get back into it, and my legs are doing so much better now. They've gotten adjusted to standing up so much more frequently. The second thing I noticed is that a floor mat makes a huge difference. I had heard that to make sure that your back and your legs could stay strong, that a floor mat was important. So I made sure I got one of those, and man, it has made a world of difference. I really appreciate FlexiSpot for sending me this desk, and they've also sent me a referral code where if you're interested in it, you can get a discount. So if you go ahead and check in the description below, you can check out these desks and see them for yourself. But let's get back to what I'm doing when I'm at my desk. While it feels like I learn a lot when I read on my Remarkable, sometimes I wonder if that's an illusion. Let me know if you feel the same way I did. You read a book or paper and think it was really interesting. A year later, you look at it and think, I really loved that book, but I have no idea what it was about. Maybe a few ideas stick out, but you're not getting anything deep from it. When I realized this was happening, I did the natural next step, and I got a notebook. I made sure it was a nice, durable notebook, and I started writing anytime I was reading something to just get the important insights down so I could refer back to them later. But there was a problem. Not only did I stop writing in it after a few months, this is actually the first time I've opened this thing in years. The problem with the notebook is that notes are hard to rediscover. You typically take notes as you're reading a certain topic or based on the day that you read it. So if I read a book on Haiti's history in 1 year, and then a year later I read a book on why we fight, those notes are nowhere near each other. But there is enough overlap in the concepts covered in the two books that I should be connecting the ideas between them. Fortunately, in the past 2 years, there has been a huge leap forward in note-taking software. These programs make it so much easier to take your notes and then have them resurface later when you're ready to connect them to new ideas. This year, I decided to take my note-taking seriously, and I was trying to connect ideas as frequently as possible. It has been amazing how much it has accelerated my learning. There are so many times I forgot about an idea, but as I was coming across a new idea and looking for something to connect it to, I was reconnected with that thing that I had already forgotten. That was something that I was totally missing in my learning, and now I just have this network of ideas and concepts every time I read something new. Now, the program I use is called Rome Research. I'm super happy about it. Some people are unhappy with the price, which can be as high as $15 a month. But for me, that is some of the best money I spend because I am so much more productive using this software than I have been for the past couple of years. If you're worried about the price, there are some programs out there that have a free tier. Obsidian and Logsec are the two that I hear the most about that are very similar to Rome, and some people argue even better. The thing is, even after getting all of this tech, you're not going to become a great economist unless you start thinking more about economics. That's why you need to check out this video where I recommend some of my favorite books from the year. I guarantee you, you will find something that will change the way you see the world.